What up? All right, 281 is almost upon us. 2 days away. A little less than 48 hours before the cards start. Awesome matchups on here. I don't know why the obviously the pay-per-views are better cards. Usually, especially when they stay together like this. We're at 14 fights, I think. Fingers crossed. Um, but we'll get into this. I'll give you some of my picks. My picks are 99% locked in. I reserve the right to change any of them between now and Saturday morning when I post them on Instagram, or at least until the card starts, to be honest. But starting off, we got Carlos Carlos Ulberg versus Nikolai Negumereanu. This is awesome. I can't believe it's the first fight of the card. Carlos, if you watch him, dude has a lot of power. I believe he's a kickboxer, but only has one loss. Nikolai has one loss. Nikolai, I've bet on the last two times and made money off. I think once he was a dog, and the one before he was a favorite. But dude brings it. Early on, I posted a bet for everybody to see that a 4-pick with Ulberg in it, and this fight could go either way. I just am giving the edge to Nikolai because of his wrestling, his pressure. He chain wrestles. He doesn't mind walking down and eating some punches. He's fought fighters that probably bring as much power as Ulberg, especially late in some of these rounds. Obviously, he beat the mess out of Potiera or whatever last time this guy was supposed to come out and give him the business, and it did not happen. I didn't see his actual loss. I didn't go back and watch it. I don't care. So, like I say, he's going to get in. He's going to clinch. He'll eat some of those punches, come in, punch himself. He's going to clinch and probably try to get some just some leg trips and go to the ground. And he will just chain wrestle. And he's going to keep the pressure on regardless. Whether he's moving forward, standing up, or he's just chain wrestling on the ground up against the cage. Ulberg is not there with him when it comes to wrestling and that pressure. And we'll see what stamina goes the longer it goes. A good bet on this could be not go the distance. I'll go over that more afterwards. But I'm taking Nikolai, so I'm letting you know that now. The next fight, Julio Arce and Montel Jackson. I'll be honest, I don't think I've actually seen a Montel Jackson fight live before. And when I saw the card roll out, I had Julio Arce. I've been back and forth between them actually now. So, back and forth, back and forth. I'm not going to tell you exactly who I picked, but you look at Montel, he's a little taller. What bothers me about him is that at times he just kind of seems reserved. He's not letting it all go to his potential that I think he could. He has a heavy left hand, I believe, but he waits a lot. Like it's kind of telegraphed, kind of like Michael Chandler, where he just looks like he wants to throw it. I know there's some stats out there about how many punches he throws per minute and lands. It's over the UFC average, but I think at times he's just a little too slow and reserved, where he's not putting it all together that I'd like him to. But has a lot of power when he does land, and he carries that power late into his fights. Julio Arce, scrappy, can survive late in the fight too. We saw him against what was his Daniel? Is that the kid's name? Daniel Santos. Before Santos won his last fight against Castaneda, but he put on a really good fight against Arce. The difference is he just really, I guess some of those he didn't land. Obviously, he got the TKO in his last fight, but against Arce, dude threw a lot of punches, and Arce was able to move around, stay out of range, and getting hit with all of them because that kid's pace is crazy. The difference here is he doesn't have the power, but both these guys are going to be good late. He's going to have the conditioning to stand there and kind of be still throwing some jabs and straights and hanging in there. That could be a fight of the night candidate. Next fight, Michael Trezano versus, I'm not even going to say it, Choi. I hope that's how I even say the last name. Similar here, to be honest. They both have some pretty crummy losses. 2 losses, and the last loss, a split decision and a sub. And I usually don't go beyond, to be honest, past their UFC. A little insight here. I'm not going to go that much beyond, unless they fought each other before and it was recent. But I usually just stick with their UFC competition, their bouts. Let me get this to work. Same thing. He lost his last two. Then he lost to Lucas Almeida and he lost to Dawoodu, whatever. Better competition, and he actually beat Ludwig Klein, which is to beat Ludwig Klein. That's pretty good. I mean, he's up and down, but he won his last fight too against Mason Jones. Klein is underrated, hasn't reached his potential probably, but these are better competition that he's fought than Chow Choi. Pretty similar. I've been leaning Choi. Not. I think I'm dead set on that one, but I was leaning Choi. So that one could go either way, to be honest. Again, I reserve the right to change. Silviana Gomez Juarez. See, I did it. Juarez. Yeah, I'm practicing. Carolina. Just Carolina. She's like, what, 37 years old? Yep, 37. She got a win in her last fight out of a sub. Before that, quite the losing streak. Let's see how many that was. 4, or was it more? It was 5. She's at 5, which is kind of, this is like a Sam Alvey. I don't know how you lose 5 fights in the UFC and stick around. Early on, she came in, won some, lost some, won some, and just lost a crap load. Now, given she had somewhat good competition, she got KO'd by Jessica Andrade. She lost unanimously to Michelle Watterson, who is now washed up, but she is the karate hottie. Alexa Grasso, unanimous. Jan, unanimous. Penny, she got submitted. I mean, it hasn't been good. So the question is like, okay, is she just thinking a really crummy streak against really good competition, and now she's bouncing back, or does she just suck and she's done for? Now, when we look at Silviana Gomez Juarez, I think she got subbed in against Demopolis. She won her last fight with the KO TKO. She got subbed by Demopolis, and to be honest, she was winning that fight. So this lady brings a lot of power. She's got a heavy hand. She's just waiting to unload, and she was winning against Demopolis, and she kind of got over anxious and got caught up in a submission. I think it was an arm bar from Demopolis' back, if I remember correctly. But there's no reason she shouldn't have won that fight. She was winning that fight. I believe she's the favorite in this fight, and she should be. I'm going Gomez Juarez. Just don't get caught in the submission again, and she should win this fight easily. Could even end in a knockout, TKO, stoppage. Next, we go to Matt Frevola and Ataman Azatar. This is a pretty... I know a lot of people are going with Ataman Azatar, leaning that way, and the betting is going that way. But Frevola, this is somebody who loses fights he shouldn't lose. This guy's got a lot of power, too. Now, he lost to Armin Suzukian and to Terrence McKinney. Again, great competition. So the people he's losing to, and he beat Jalen Turner a couple years back. I give him it was early on, but he's had some pretty good competition. You watch his fights, the dude can bang. He has a lot of power. He can knock some people out. He's just making some mistakes where he shouldn't, and he gets into a little bit of exchanges that he probably shouldn't. Be more calculated. But this fight could go either way. I know he's 13-0, but this dude, he puts it a lot of, he hasn't fought the same competition, but he likes to just swing wildly left, right, and he leaves his chin out there. He could easily get knocked out by Matt Frevola if Matt is more calculated, and even if they get into those crazy exchanges, I mean, he could get it, and Matt can wrestle. I honestly feel like if it wasn't for his record, just on paper, and then obviously Ottoman's record as well, Frevola would be favored in this. I know I've heard a lot of people favoring Frevola, and the odds might even change between now and then. On to Andre Petrosky and Wellington Turman. Look at this. If you've watched any film on Turman, Turman, I mean, he got sub in his last one. He beat Sam Alvey. I don't know how Sam Alvey's even in the UFC. The dude's lost like he hasn't won a fight in 9 fights. I think there's 8 losses and a draw in the last 9. It's insane. He's got to be like Dana's stepson or something. I don't know, but beating Sam Alvey, I'm not even going to give him any credit for that. And even then, it was a split decision in the third. I mean, let's look at Alvey's losses. Pretty sure most of them were getting beat down. I mean, he's TKO sub, the split with him, the sub, a draw. I don't know what happened. That draw, split, unanimous, TKO. I mean, out of all that, there's only 2 splits. Most people are beating the brakes off of Sam Alvey. So when you got a split decision with Sam Alvey, kind of worries me about you. I don't like the guy's pace. He's kind of, I think he's a bigger fighter. No, this says they're both 6 foot. He might be a little bit bigger, but his pace is real slow. I don't know. I mean, I have seen him get some takedowns and try to work some ground game. But Andre Petrosky is stronger. It's going to take me back to that way. He is stronger, better wrestler. I have seen him get a little gassed in some of his fights. He lost to Brian Battle in the Ultimate Fighter. And since then, he's knocked out 3 wins. He got a TKO and 2 subs. But at the same time, he's just a great wrestler and has a lot of power. The one thing about him is he's just throwing these haymakers like crazy. And when they're not landing, somebody's going to catch him at some point. And maybe that's what happened down here against Jeffrey. I haven't seen that one. Like I say, typically stick within the UFC if there's enough fights for me to go by. But I wouldn't doubt that's what happened to him. I mean, he probably just got rocked because this guy is just throwing. He's throwing these hooks. And if they land, great. But if they don't, he's leaving himself really exposed. And he keeps doing it. You can see he's getting gas and he's still just throwing them. So he wants to live or die by it. I don't think that'd be that big of a problem in this fight. He should probably be a little bit more of a favorite in this, but that's the matchup. Next, on to Aaron Blanchfield and Molly McCann. Now, for all those people out there who told me Molly's carrying Patty the Batty, it's not the other way around, we're about to find out. Aaron Blanchfield's on my good list. I'll be honest, it's one of the 2 matchups on here I think I didn't watch any film on, to be honest. I knew when this fight was announced instantly. Oh, A, I was taking Aaron Blanchfield because it's her. She's on my good list. I like her. And B, I'm waiting for Molly McCann to get stiffer competition so I can pick against her. She's just a spinning back fist, and that's it. I know some people had a problem with her last fight, I believe, which I swore I saw. So I didn't watch any of this. I remember her Miranda Maverick fight. Maybe I did. I had to watch that fight. I don't know. A lot of people worry about when she starts to box and she gets under pressure, she squares up. And she kind of gets flat-footed. She was, where's it at? When we look at the stats, see, some people tell me that they felt like she was losing and that she just got lucky with that sub. But when we look at these significant strikes, not really. Even the control time, nah, she's clearly winning. I absolutely watched this card, so I absolutely saw that fight. It's Aaron Blanchfield. I just think she's way better than Molly McCann. I'm going to tell you straight up, I didn't watch film on either one of these. I don't need to. I watched at least her last 3 fights. I watched Molly's last 2. Don't like Molly, and I just think she's overhyped, and Patty the Batty is carrying her along with him. I think that stops Saturday. Unless she can get the spinning back fist, she's going to get outclassed. I am going Aaron Blanchfield 100%. Letting you know that now. Now, when I posted that 4-pick parlay early on, I had Dominic Reyes in it, and I took him out. I wanted to watch some film on this fight, on this matchup. Dom, it's crazy is the fact that Dom still only has 3 losses. It's been so long since he fought John Jones. I mean, we talk about how long it's been since John's fought, which was against Dominic Reyes, but Reyes has only fought twice since then. Obviously, a lot of people think that he beat John Jones. I think he blew it in the 5th. Trust me, I was rooting for him. I've never really liked John. I appreciate the heck out of John's skills. I think John's the GOAT. Unless we're going to take steroids into account, then GSP's hands down the GOAT. But you can't ignore what John's done. John's the GOAT. And I didn't want him to win, but I'm be honest, what I saw, and John won the 5th round, so he won the fight. So then he came out against Blachowicz. He thought that he was just going to walk through Jan, and it was the other way around. If I remember correctly, his sides got tore up with some kicks. He got put away pretty easily in the second. Only film I watched here was the Yuri Prochazka fight because I just kind of wanted a reminder and I wanted to see it. I remember it was a good fight, and I went back and watched it a little bit just for entertainment. But also see his confidence and kind of what he was putting together and how he changed in that fight. And I liked what I saw. So there's no reason besides the layoff. Again, this dude's only fought 3 fights since February of 2020. So he hasn't fought in a year and some months. I don't know why. From what I didn't know, he was injured. So I don't know why it's taking so long. And then to come back and fight Ryan Spann, I don't know if he thinks it puts him back in title contention. I know I'm going down a wormhole here. It doesn't really matter. But Ryan Spann is... the thing is, they don't have the rankings on here, but I can tell you that Dom is ranked in that weight class. I don't know if Ryan Spann is. Intermission. Talk amongst yourselves. Let me see if we can pull it up real quick. Because I'm curious, and I didn't look it up before this. The UFC app. Light heavyweight halftime. This app doesn't want to work. So Dom is still number 7. Ryan Spann's 12. Okay. So, it is a ranked opponent. I mean, still doesn't make sense for Dom's career, but whatever. Maybe that's all they give him. He beat Cutabella last time with a sub. I don't remember exactly. I felt like maybe he was losing that fight, and then he got the sub. Let's go look at it. Cutabella's one of those people who just throws to the fences, too, and his problem is he gets gas. But this was in the first round, so, okay, nothing really had taken place. Cutabella had some time of control. But, anyway, lost Anthony Smith by sub before that. Anthony still had some in the gas tank then. I don't think he does now. Again, being Sam Alvey, I'm not going to give you any credit for that. Got TKO by Johnny Walker, who's been like this. All signs point to the fact that, what is he, 6'5", 6'4". He's got 2-inch reach on Dom. It doesn't really matter. Dom is quite the favorite in this. I don't know if anybody's picking Ryan Spann. Dom should win this fight. The only thing made me keep Dom out of that 4 pick when I originally kind of posted it out to everybody, which I've changed and I haven't put that in anyway. I'll share some bets, but it's just something about Dom where I go, of course, Dom blew it. Dom let me down. It's kind of like a Dan Hooker or a Calvin Cater. There's fights where you're like, oh, you should win this, and then they screw you. I didn't want to get screwed by Dom, so I'm not going to put him in that 4 pick that I had. Brad Riddell and Renato Marciano, or Maicano, however they say it. Riddell is the dog here, which is crazy to me. If anything, maybe it should be even. Last time we saw Renato, he got the brakes beat off of him. He got dusted by RDA. Now, given it was on short-term notice, and he was able to stay alive. But I used the term alive loosely. Dude got destroyed. He got beat up. I don't care if it was a short term or a short time notice, a heads up to it. He got destroyed. Before that, he beat Hernandez. This kid's on the 282 card. This kid sucks. I believe he is the one that we all know that called out Cowboy and said it was time was over, and Cowboy TKO'd him. So he's just like a goof since then. He fought Drew Dober. Anyway, we're going to go over his card. I don't think his competition's that great, and he has 3 out of his last 5 he's lost. Anywho, so beating him is not impressive. Jay Herbert, he subbed him. So, Rafael Fiziev, that's great competition, but he got slept, as we would expect. I don't think anything special about this guy. We'll say he hangs around and he has a gas tank. He's somebody that just won't go away unless you put him to sleep. Brad Riddell, his last couple fights, especially against Fiziev, they have a common opponent. Now, I don't think these look the same. We'll say he did get TKO, but these dudes are banging. Brad Riddell looks yoked. They were throwing the crap out of these hands. They have two common opponents here, I guess, because Dober also. He beat Dober. Trade and bang, great fight. Raphael got him in the third, but he was landing. Brad Odell was just throwing, landing. And then when he fought Turner, he just got submitted really quickly. I don't really count that fight for him. So I don't know how he's a dog. I think his record, his last couple fights are better. He's stronger, has more power. The only thing I can see happen to him is either just throwing for the fences and getting gassed, and Ronaldo maybe at somewhere just able to outclass him. But it's only a 3-hour fight, and I just don't see it happening. The only way he's going to lose if he gets caught in submission. Other than that, I expect Riddell to just throw bombs in Ronaldo's face to get bloodied up, and Riddell take this fight. So that is worth betting on in my eyes. On to Hooker and Claudio. Well, I'll say his last name. I'm not going to Puedes. I don't know. Dan Hooker versus Claudio. Now remember, Dan Hooker, again, is one of these people that I say could just let you down. Everybody I've heard is picking Hooker. Hooker's not what he used to be. He's starting to turn a little bit of a journeyman. He went down last time against Arnold Allen. Got destroyed. And now he's back up at lightweight. But before that, he's had some great competition. He went out against Islam. Got subbed in the first round, but halfway through. He beat Hartquest. That fight is the best Hooker's looked, probably besides the Poirier fight. Obviously, because Chandler, he got KO'd by Chandler. I don't know what happened there. Pretty quickly. And maybe he just overlooked Chandler because that was Chandler's first fight in the UFC. But Hardquest, he was on top of him, changing positions, transitioning a lot on the ground. He dominated that fight. That fight was impressive, but really since Poirier and before that, I don't think he's really looked himself. That fight with Poirier was probably fight of the year to me, or one of the candidates. It was a great fight. Still one of the best fights I've ever watched. Again, got knocked out quick by Chandler. Hardquest was a great performance. Islam, he didn't even look close to the same. Islam finished him easily. Allen finished him easily. I know they're giving him credit for being 6 foot. Let's see what his reach is compared to Claudio. 3-inch reach advantage, 2-inch height difference. When they say it's because he's a way better striker, I don't see it. I don't think Hooker is the striker that he once was, like he was against Poirier. So if he can bring that, cool. Then yeah, this could be an amazing fight. Claudio is obviously way better on the ground. I believe he has some kickboxing. He's a subspecialist, obviously 3 of his last 5. He subbed Clay Guida, had him in a, I think he got him in a knee bar. And Clay Guida can scrap. So that is not somebody easy to grab a hold of, to hold down, to get down. He did. And how fast he got that knee bar is crazy. I mean, Clay Guida went to get up and he immediately grabbed that leg, and it was beautiful. It's crazy how fast that happened. Beat Levitt. They spent a lot of time on the ground. Obviously, that's where Levitt's game is, but Claudio outclassed him. I think most people are leading Dan Hooker here. I don't see Hooker being the guy he once was. I think this should be a little closer. I'm surprised that Hooker's even the favorite. Make what you will of it. Could go either way. I just think it should be closer to even. Won't give my pick there exactly yet. Frankie Edgar versus Chris Gutierrez. Frankie could get in the Hall of Fame even if he just lost all of his fights. Just based on who he has freaking fought. Look at this list of people that Frankie Edgar's fought. This dude has never taken an easy fight in his life. I mean, look at just from 2010, BJ Penn, Gray Maynard, twice, Benson Henderson twice, Aldo, Charles Oliveira, BJ Penn again, Cub Swanson, Uriah Faber, Chad Mendez, Jose Aldo, Jeremy Stevens, Yair Rodriguez, Brian Ortega, Cub Swanson again, Max Blessed Holloway, the Korean Zombie, Pedro Munoz, Corey Sandhagen, Chito Vera. Ridiculous. Amazing career. I expect Frankie to come out and probably just I think he's going to balls to the wall and just put it all out there. He has nothing to lose. I think he's been a little rejuvenated, and it's his last fight. Knowing he has nothing to lose, and he wants to give everybody a great show, and being in the position he is on the card, expect him to go out there and go crazy. So surprised because of that. It's not a little closer in the odds. Chris Gutierrez, a little bit bigger than him. When I watch him, I don't see anything that special about him. I'll tell you now, I picked Gutierrez, but I'm still watching film on this. I haven't watched any Frankie Edgar. Maybe I'll go back and watch a little bit to see how he was that last fight and that energy. Talking about I expect him to bring. I could still change on that. Right now I've got Chris Gutierrez, but I could see Edgar coming out and just going crazy because it's his last fight. So I am not finished with that one, to be honest. Just thinking of it now. Poirier versus Chandler. Best fight on the card. This is awesome. Michael Chandler is one of my probably 3 favorite fighters. That being said, he frustrates the crap out of me because he loses fights he shouldn't. Should not lost against Gaethje. He won the first round. Second round, he's got that dropped where he just kind of fell back like a rocking chair was there, but then it wasn't. Man, just that walking down and saying, come on, punch me is just annoying. I think he gave the fight away. I think he had Oliveira beat. Some refs would have stopped that fight. I know it's debatable, but at the same time, he should have put it away. Matchups make fights. Styles make fights. I think he had what it took to beat Oliveira. Man, I'm tired. I don't think Oliveira could handle him like he did Poirier. Because Chandler's smaller, I think it actually aided him in that fight, and he should have won it. But he blew it. And he blew the Gaethje fight. And then obviously with Ferguson, he lost the first round. And then he put the ball of his foot into Tony's soul, into that. He has what it takes to win any of these fights. But Poirier's defense is phenomenal. That switching back and forth, what he does with his elbows, awesome defense. If these guys come out and trade and bang, somebody's getting knocked out. And it could happen either way. I've tended to lean Poirier. Early on, I was like Chandler immediately because, again, I am a fan of Chandler. I think he's awesome, his fighting. But Poirier's defense is going to make this really interesting. If Chandler would come out and wrestle like he's able to do, if he wrestles Poirier, he can win this fight easily. If he sits here and trades and bangs, I don't know how much. It'd be interesting. I'm even going to look at it right now, but Poirier's reach versus Gaethje's. Obviously, we know Poirier put Gaethje to sleep pretty easily. Chandler did not. But the problem for Chandler in that Gaethje fight was the reach. I don't think he did enough to get around it. And again, I would have liked to see him go all out on some of his takedown attempts, or more feints there and going better with his hands. But Poirier's defense is going to make it really interesting. This is going to be fight of the night candidate, probably the fight of the night. Just calling it. It's going to be awesome. Very easily somebody could go to sleep. Carlo Esparza and Zhang Weili. Man, to be honest, y'all are going to be super shocked. Either Carla Esparza is a way better wrestler than we're giving her credit, or she's about to get dominated and knocked out. So it's hard to look at Weili's competition because she hasn't really fought an offensive wrestler. I've seen Weili in some of her fights be on the offensive side of some grappling, but not really on the ground and wrestling. Just straight up great wrestler. Carla is that, but I think she might get caught coming in for some of those wrestling. And Carla's not afraid to trade some of those punches. And that boring fight last fight was not her fault. I put that on Rose more. So she goes, then Rose thought she won, which is nuts because Rose just danced around and didn't want to get touched. Didn't want to go to the ground. I would think that Weili's stronger as well. But Carla has some really tight pressure when she gets on top on the ground. I mean, she doesn't give a lot of separation, kind of like Khabib and Islam, where she just keeps really close to people. You know, and she's transitioning and she knows what she's doing there. Whether she's trying to put somebody in a crucifix or get a choke or just ground and pound. I'm going Weili. I know early on I kind of wanted to go Carla. I just haven't seen the evidence that Weili will get dominated on the ground because I haven't got to see her face somebody like Carla. So without the evidence of that, I have to go Weili and just thinking that she's going to land some bombs without getting taken down. And Esparza's not got those bombs or the surprise hit like Rose had to knock her out. So Carla has to get her to the ground. Could Carla win? Yeah. You can win some good money on it. I'm not going to put my money on it. I got Whaley winning. So on to the final fight, and this is the second fight that I watched absolutely no film on because there's no need to. 1,000 million billion% I'm going Israel Adesanya, the last style bender, the champ. It's not even close for me. I can't stand Alex Pereira. Call it bias, whatever you want. Izzy is one of my favorite 3 fighters, and I think Pereira's cheated his way to the top and gotten there off of Izzy's clout in his name. This dude hasn't done anything. The only reason he beat Strickland is because Strickland's a nut, and Strickland just walked at him and thought he could eat some shots. There's no reason Strickland shouldn't have won that fight or even put up a fight. But Pereira has power, yeah. But this isn't kickboxing, guys. Okay, this is the octagon. This is in wrestling. In wrestling and kickboxing, you're not moving backwards. In wrestling, you get penalized, you move backwards. In kickboxing and like Muay Thai, it's almost an agreement. You're going to stand there and they just trade. You're not doing that here. And as everybody says Izzy is boring or whatever, then kind of being boring this fight maybe. Because he's going to outpoint this goof. He's not going to stand there and just trade kicks with Pereira. It's not going to happen. Izzy's going to move around a lot, real robotic like Anderson Silva and how he does. And he's going to give a lot of feints. And this is 5 rounds. Pereira better be ready to go 5 rounds. And on top of it, don't be shocked if Izzy takes his goof to the ground or trips him or something. He's going to push this guy's gas tank. Izzy's built for the 5 rounds. He's going to be here the whole time. He's going to be doing a lot of feints. It's not the same. Now, if this guy comes out and he knocks out Izzy, great, more power to you. But the odds in my mind are not close. This dude's going to get outclassed, just like Paulo Costa did. That's his only weapon. He better get a knockout. He better go balls to the wall. But if Jan Blachowicz didn't get one, and Jan Blachowicz couldn't do anything on the ground to Izzy besides just lay on him, this dude's not going to do it. When Izzy beats him, I want this turd to go away by the wayside. I want to hear anything about him again. The guy, he's not up there. He should never have gotten this opportunity. Let him go fight Robert Whittaker after this and get completely dominated as well. Make him running back with Sean Strickland, whatever. Now we can go to some betting. Man, this video is trying to be pretty long. He said it's 14 fights. But we can show you some of these. I'm logged into one of my accounts. I don't want to show you my open bets. So what I will do is I'll go here. And we will pull up some fights. Which? I got 2 accounts. I don't know which one that was. But, yes I do. I put 100 in there today. I've only put in 1 UFC bet so far. So, I have a couple that I'm thinking of. But here we go. Let's see some of these favorites and what I tell you. So, we can go Izzy, unless you're a nut. Gotta go Poirier. If you believe in Chandler, and another thing you could do here, they're not going to give you these bets. I don't know about where you're betting at, but on Bovada, they're not going to give you a lot of these bets until the day of, or they get really close. This will be like 60 bets or 90 or something. It goes crazy where you can pick the knockout or the exact finish or whatever. But we'll say you pick Poirier, Whaley, Izzy. This main card is pretty easy. You can go Chris Gutierrez. I mean, this could easily go 5 favorites. Me, I'm not going to go 5 favorites. I would take Claudio here, and you could go $40 on the 5 pick on the main card. Pretty easy bet. Now, if you want to go hooker, I mean, if you want to go all 5 favorites on here, you're still going to get, what, 197 off of 40. These fights are not that big of a toss-up. That's not a toss-up to me. It's not a toss-up to me. Not really. I mean, again, I think either one can get the knockout, but it's going to distance. It's not really a toss-up because Poirier's defense and Chandler's refusal to use his wrestling. Frankie, no. But if you want to believe in Frankie and say you want to take Pereira, because if you're taking Frankie, you're probably the type of person that takes Pereira. Then crap, you might be a person that takes Chandler. So if you want to take those dogs, you want a crap ton of money. $40 right there taking 3 dogs out of these 5 gets you a lot of money. Let's see here. So something I'd be more inclined to do would be like boom, 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 and let's see here. Boom. I mean, you could go 30 on those 4. So what I tend to do is, and bothers me, it's awesome if this is the first fight, but at the same time it's not. So I will probably go like that, or you could go Arce, whichever. I would take the first 2 fights and I'll probably just throw $20 on it. You can win even more if you're taking Arce. $20, boom, you get you $100, and now you can start playing as the wheel goes down. I usually like to bet on the first fight or 2. Sometimes even just the first fight. But given this fight is where it is, the only problem I see in these first couple is the Nikolai. If Nikolai gets it done, I would feel confident in doing that. So if I would throw 20 on Nikolai, then why not add the next 2 fights? 20, bam, $84. Obviously, the odds will change a little bit. Probably not in your favor as we get closer to the card. But as of right now, you throw that on there. That's a bet I'm probably going to make. And then if Nikolai loses, then I would turn around and probably just do the next 3. Another 20 or so. You're going to get your 20 back plus another 20 if it wins. So I'd probably do a 2-pick or a 3-pick. And then from there, say if these 2 win right here, and I've got that 3rd pick right here, I'm going to go ahead and double down on this one while before this fight starts. And then I'm going to swing into the next couple fights. And I might just take... I like the money to keep moving the whole way through, but then I might go ahead and just go, boom, this is easy, and that's easy to me. So I throw another $30 because out of the other one, you're expecting to win. If you really believe in this 3rd fight from that first 3 pick, you're going to make over $30 in that bet. So now I'm taking that 30 that I'm counting on getting from this fight, and I'm throwing it into a 5 pick. So now when this fight finishes, I win this $30 that I've already put into this one, and now I've got 4 fights to go, which are pretty easy. So now you've got $250 sitting out there for you. Same thing. Now if you get through these, that one once, you got your 30, and these 2 are 1, and now you're sitting here waiting on these 2, and you're planning on winning 2 something. I mean, you can go ahead and go this way, and you could even take some dogs if you want to, and you could bet it both ways or not bet. What I do is I leave those off because you don't want some of those later fights to cost you on both sides. Boom, you have 2 fights left on a bet where you're going to win $250 in profit. You can put down another $25 in between, when they're $300. So just following that strategy, if you could do, again, first 3, however you want to take it, first 3, say $20, you're going to win yourself a profit of $84. These 2 win, while this one is about to start, you take it again, you take it here, and what did I say? You take it there, you take it there, and you throw it in with 2 other ones late. Now you're up $84. Put 30 here. This other one finishes, whatever. Like I say, you just got that money. Now you've got these 2 going with the other 2. These 2 win. Go ahead and throw some money on these other fights in the middle. And then you can just take these off so you're not screwing yourself if something happens. And then throw another whatever down. I mean, you're 2 fights away from $250. Take a chance, throw another 40. You can walk away with $600-700 easily, just like that. And you can do more money. You want to do 40 or whatever. But that's kind of the strategy of where I'll probably play this. I'll have some open bets where I'll take, like you say, I'll take over 1.5 here, over 1.5 here, over 1.5. And then you might take one like doesn't go the distance. And then you could take wins by submission or points, doesn't go the distance. You could do some of those props, mix in with the straight ups, have those open the whole time. But the way I normally start off, I will bet the first 1 to 3, and then I will kind of feed as I start closing the winning and counting my chickens before they hatch. But it is what it is. So I will post some of my bets that I bet ahead of time. All my picks will be up definite Saturday morning on Instagram. Have any questions, anything in the meantime, hit me up. Appreciate you watching. That was kind of a long video, so later, and I'll talk to y'all Saturday.